How many of you have heard the expression, politics makes for strange bedfellows? Well, those of you who have heard the phrase probably know that the practice comes from Lincoln's day, when beds were scarce on the pioneer prairie, and politicians, even political opponents, might share the same bed after a day of campaigning. That, of course, was before Hyatt hotels enabled all politicians to sleep in their own beds. You can hear the headline from that. County chairman charges Pritzker family hotels cause of all political discord. That is not my point. My point is that in today's fraught atmosphere, if our politics no longer makes for strange bedfellows, at least railroad construction still does. This rail project through Springfield that celebrates a significant milestone today is a remarkable testament to the united efforts of a community and its elected leaders on the state and federal level. The recently retired Federal Railroad Commissioner told us that this project, thanks to tremendous effort from the Illinois Department of Transportation, is the best railroad project in the nation, on budget and on time for completion in 2025. Today we celebrate the groundbreaking of the centerpiece of this project, the Springfield and Sangamon County Transportation Center. That's kind of a mouthful. So the many community members working on the many planning committees for this facility have tentatively begun to call it the Hub. At a total cost of $86 million, the Hub will include the Amtrak station, the SMTD bus transfer center, expanded parking and access to county facilities, exhibition space, and a community gathering point. When we embarked on this endeavor, I recall Senator Durbin saying to the mayor and I, you know, if the community really comes together, you can really achieve something. Just look at Bloomington. Of course, the senator in his position can't take sides, but we hope when our community has done its work, Senator Durbin can point with pride to a project he has championed for us in Washington. As Senator Durbin predicted, other good projects will come from this project. As a community, we want to thank Senator Duckworth for championing with Congressman Rodney Davis the 1908 Race Riot National Memorial that is planned for a location 3 blocks from here. One of Senator Durbin's crucial recruits to our cause was our current governor. From the first briefing, Governor Pritzker understood the critical safety, social equity, and economic development benefits of this project for our community. Equally important, he understood that this 6-mile stretch of tracks through Springfield is the major bottleneck for the entire statewide corridor. He worked closely with our Republican and Democratic state representatives to carve out $122 million in state infrastructure legislation. It is no exaggeration to say that the state's critical role of support is the linchpin of the success in funding this project. As a new governor, Governor Pritzker stood up when others might have stood back. He led on a project that is vital for the entire state corridor and vital to our community. He and First Lady MJ have taken our community to their hearts. Let us reciprocate with heartfelt thank you for making today possible. Governor?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for everybody being here today. I don't know if it's such a great idea to call us all strange, but I do appreciate the idea that we're all working together for the same ends, and actually I want to celebrate that today. In 2019, the entire Springfield delegation to the General Assembly voted unanimously and in a bipartisan fashion in favor of the Rebuild Illinois Capital Plan, the largest infrastructure investment in our state's history, and in fact the largest in the nation, a testament to what state government can do when we work together with the best interests of working families at heart. Nowhere is common sense governing represented more than here at the Springfield Rail Improvements Project, where we are fixing decades-old problems, creating good jobs. We're connecting the hubs of Chicago and Springfield and St. Louis, bringing people into downtown and continuing the healing process for the crosstown racial injustice that these very railroad tracks have historically represented. Not to mention, Illinois is the only state where all 7 of the nation's largest railroads operate. That's a unique economic advantage recognized by employers across the globe, helping our state attract and maintain quality jobs. That's among several reasons why Rebuild Illinois dedicates over $1 billion to expand and improve our rail systems, including the $122 million for the Springfield Rail Improvement Project. So today we come together again, joined by Illinois' exceptional champions in Congress, Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin and Senator Tammy Duckworth. In our General Assembly, Senators Doris Turner and Steve McClure and Representative Sue Scherer and Representative Mike Murphy, along with the Illinois AFL-CIO Secretary-Treasurer Tim Dre, and of course, the Mayor of Springfield, Jim Langfelder. We're breaking ground on a cornerstone of this project, the Hub Transportation Center, the new multimodal hub to the Amtrak and the Sangamon Mass Transit District bus system. And what a beautifully designed home it will be. When this multimodal facility is completed, public mass transit will make the communities of Chatham and Sherman, Springfield, Rochester, and Riverton, as well as adjacent communities, more accessible to each other and to St. Louis and Chicago and beyond. This is just the latest exciting development in the Springfield Rail Improvements Project. And thanks to our hardworking men and women of labor, more than half of the project's components are already completed or under construction. That includes the completion of the Laurel Street underpass ahead of schedule and opened to the public a few weeks ago on September 20th, and the Ash Street Bridge, as well as ongoing work on the Union Pacific bridges at 5th and 6th Streets, the new rail segment between South Grand and Capitol Avenues, and new inclusive transit options for bikers and pedestrians. Not only will this project completion consolidate rail traffic and create a more resident-centric downtown, but it'll set in motion a major expansion of employment and services in the medical district and surrounding areas, which can't be fully executed until the rail lines sit farther from our hospitals, our healthcare providers, and major employers. That multi-million-dollar private investment will add thousands of jobs on top of the many construction jobs that have already been created by Rebuild Illinois. This is a monumental collaboration of the federal government, the state of Illinois, Sangamon County, and the city of Springfield, and rail companies to create jobs, invest in a vibrant community, and build a better transportation system in our capital city. Preserving and growing Illinois' long legacy as a leader in the transportation sector is all the more important as we shape our economic recovery so that we can vault ahead of others as we emerge from the pandemic. And Springfield is helping us to lead the way. With that, I'd like to turn it over to one of the longest and strongest advocates for this project, a real champion for us in Washington, D.C., our leader and senior senator, Dick Durbin.
Thanks, Governor. Tonight, before you go to sleep, listen. Almost without fail, every night before you fall asleep, you're going to hear the sound of trains coming through Springfield. If you grew up in Springfield or in any other city that had a railroad, you really have to pay attention to hear it anymore. You hardly ever hear those horns, but they're blowing all night long, all day long, moving trains through Illinois. It's nothing new. The first locomotive that came down this very track was in 1842. It was in 1861 on this same railroad track that Abraham Lincoln caught the train to be inaugurated, the 16th President of the United States. He rode on the Great Western Railroad, which became the Wabash Railroad, and then became the Norfolk and Southern Railroad, which it is today. So there's a long connection in history between the place where we stand and the political past of America, and particularly with President Lincoln. But it's more than that. These trains and railroads are an integral part of our economy. Why is Illinois the economic success it is and has been? Location, location, location. We're smack dab in the middle of America. And there are points in our history where that location meant everything in terms of building the economy to support the railroad system and vice versa. I want to thank Governor Pritzker and the Illinois Legislative Delegation, who did particularly yeoman's duty on this transportation center, which we break ground on today. Now, Tammy and I, along with the congressional delegation, have a different responsibility of this $300 million railroad improvement project. We've secured $60 million together over the last 7 years, and more to come. We're going to continue to work to make this a success because we know that railroad success means safety, efficiency, profitability, and economic growth. Railroads have been the past, and they're going to be an important part of the future of Central Illinois and our state. I thank everyone for gathering here today, and it's my honor to turn it over to my colleague, friend, and the United States Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Well, good morning, everyone. And it's always hard to follow Dick Durbin, you know. But I'm so glad to be standing at his side in Washington, D.C., and together we've done a lot of good work there, and we'll continue to do so. It's also an honor to join Governor Pritzker and all of our state, local, and labor leaders here today to break ground in this new hub transportation center. This center, as Dick has said, and as the governor has said, is a crucial part of the Springfield Rail Project, which, as you all know, is a massive, massive undertaking for the city of Springfield and the whole state of Illinois. And I would argue for the whole nation as well, because the slowdowns that happened here affects rail transport across the nation. It affects the ability of us to bring not just people to different places, but goods and services to the marketplace. In fact, you know, parts of the southeastern United States has been purchasing grains like soybean from places like Brazil because we can't get our goods and products to market fast enough from Illinois compared to how fast they can send it from Brazil to the southeastern part of the United States. That's why I wanted to focus on infrastructure and transportation when I went to the United States Senate. And I'm so proud that over the years, thanks to the leadership of Senator Durbin, more than $50 million in federal funding has been invested in the Springfield Rail Improvements Project. But there's much more that needs to be done. Projects like the Hub Transportation Center, the Rail Improvement Project are great examples of the multiplying effect federal resources can bring to bear on state and local infrastructure, investments, the impacts that these federal resources have on our communities, and the kinds of things that we can do when all levels of government come together. And that is why I'm so proud to also be standing here with Governor Pritzker. His dedication and support for these projects and gathering together people from all different viewpoints to understand that we need to make these investments in Illinois, in our communities, not just for the good of our communities, but also for the good of the nation. You know, these projects aren't just about improving the quality of life for just Springfield residents, though that would have been more than enough to give it the green light. It's about helping Illinoisans travel our great state more easily in fewer days. It's about improving access for all riders so that riders with disabilities will have full access. But our work doesn't stop here. We can see these impacts in the Build Back Better proposal from President Biden, and that Dick and I will be going back to Washington to continue to pursue. Also, in the critical investments, Governor Pritzker's Rebuild Illinois Capital Plan has made as well. The bipartisan infrastructure deal we're working on in Washington to pass would create more jobs across the state, and we won't stop working to get it done. Along with the Build Back Better budget, we're going to make sure we get this thing across the finish line. And then we're going to have the governor come through with his efforts, and that again will have that multiplying effect. We must work to pass bipartisan infrastructure legislation that will create jobs here in Springfield, but all across this great nation. So I'm so proud to get to be here. It could not have a better day. I don't know what the mayor did, but somehow he managed to get us this great day. I'm not surprised that he would be able to pull that off, but thank you for letting me be here, and I can't wait to see this project completed. And now I will be followed by Secretary Omar Osman. All right. I'm gonna go this way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Senator, and good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here today to celebrate the groundbreaking for a special project that would not be possible without some tremendous teamwork. But this event would not be possible without the work and dedication of IDOT Regional Engineer Jeff Myers, who is in the crowd today, and the Deputy Director of Transit, Sean Reese, who is also in the crowd today. But truly, though, without the governor's leadership and the support of the General Assembly, we would not have rebuilt Illinois, and this project would be little more than a concept. I have said it time and time again, but Rebuild Illinois has been a game changer. It puts IDOT back in the business of investing in the state infrastructure and partnering with our communities and counties to improve quality of life. Rebuild Illinois is the state's first capital program ever, touching multimodal capital program ever, touching roads, bridges, airports, waterways, bicycle and pedestrian accommodation, and yes, rail and transit. I have been lucky to attend many Rebuild Illinois events with the governor, but this is the first one quite like this. Not only are we making a transformational investment in our capital city and surrounding communities, but we are building connections. Illinois is a transportation state, and no one gets that more than our governor. Amtrak serves more than 30 communities in Illinois, carrying millions of riders a year. 96 of the 102 counties in our state offer some form of transit service. This project right here, when complete, will give people in the region the ability to seamlessly connect to the entire state. That's how you invest in communities, and that's how you rebuild Illinois. Thank you, and I look forward to our continued progress and successes. And one day, I'm hoping to come back here to cut a ribbon. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce the president of ALCIO, Mr. Tim Dray.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Good morning, everyone. The Springfield Rail Improvement Project does more than create jobs. We all talk about jobs, but projects like this create career opportunities for a diversified workforce in the construction industry. Right here in Springfield. In addition to creating careers, this project will make train travel through Springfield more efficient and improve traffic and safety, pedestrian safety. These types of projects are what people want from government. The project has and will continue to create hundreds of careers in the construction trades, and I know here in the crowd today there are quite a few of those career builders from organized labor to start training young men and women to in a career in the construction trades. Construction skills learned to construct the numerous underpasses can be transferred to the Central Illinois road projects, such as a favorite of mine, expanding I-55 to 3 lanes in each direction. And construction skills learned to build the long overdue Springfield Mass Transit bus transfer facility can be transferred by these young apprentices to start to build the Lincoln Land Energy Center next year. And so rebuilding our infrastructure creates lifelong careers in the construction industry that will propel working families into the middle class and provide jobs with decent health care and retirement security. The Illinois AFL-CIO applauds Governor Pritzker, Senator Durbin, Senator Duckworth, members of the Illinois Congressional Delegation, members of the Illinois General Assembly, Chairman Van Meter, Mayor Langfelder, for the bipartisan commitment to make critical working family career infrastructure investments right here in the city of Springfield. Thank you very much, and with that I'd like to introduce a champion in the Illinois General Assembly, Representative Sue Shear.
Thank you, Tim.
It's such an honor and so humbling to be here. And, you know, I'm standing here and I'm thinking, just a little old teacher from down the road is now standing here getting to break ground on one of the biggest projects that have ever been passed in Illinois. And the only reason that I'm here is because of the people out there who saw something there that they thought we could make this happen together. So it's not lost on me that tying the people behind me with the people ahead of me here, this is how it happens. I haven't really been in the General Assembly that long, but I know, and how many of you know, if you build it, they will come. That's what we did. We built it, and they will come. And it's really just as simple as that. The number of my constituents who have asked me questions about this and said, oh, that would be great. You know, I could maybe even take a different job and I would be able to get from point A to point B. It's so easy now, once this is finished, to travel. But it all goes back to infrastructure. We've got to have the buses, the trains, and the buildings. And again, if we build it, they will come. So with a very heartfelt thank you, it looks all nice and fancy now, but there was a lot of work that took place behind the scenes to make this come to fruition. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart to all the people, not only behind me, but ahead of me, and even to the press. You have helped, keep this moving forward. So thank you for that. We built it, and they have come. So thank you. And now I'm here and very happy to introduce my counterpart in the Senate, which is Senator Doris Turner, right here from Springfield.
Good morning. As Senator Duckworth said, it's a beautiful day, and those of you that were in Springfield yesterday understand how blessed we are to have this great sunshine. So I am extremely excited to be standing here today, breaking ground for the new Transportation Center, an integral part of Springfield's rail improvement project. Many years ago, before I was a member of the Springfield City Council or the Illinois State Senate, I made a commitment that if Springfield were granted a record of decision to move forward with the rail improvement project, the project would not become a barrier to the east side of Springfield, but open opportunities for safer transit, faster unencumbered routes to medical facilities, and spur economic development. And with the turn of this dirt today, we are continuing to hold true to that commitment that was made all those years ago. The project is moving along ahead of schedule and on budget. How many times do you hear that when you're talking about a construction project? Ahead of schedule and on budget. And with Governor Pritzker's assistance and the Rebuild Illinois Award of $122 million, the largest investment in state history, we will see the consolidation of all transportation modes in a state-of-the-art facility. The impact that this project will have throughout this community can certainly not be overstated. Our downtown, adjacent neighborhoods, medical district, local businesses, union labor, and everyday lives will be generationally transformed, not just for today, not just for tomorrow, but for generations to come. The Hub Transportation Center is not just a brick and mortar building. It is the continuation of Springfield's transformation that will be a catalyst for much more than our eyes can see or our minds can envision. So as I stand here today, I am just as enthusiastic and filled with hope for my hometown as I was when we began this journey all those years ago. I am so looking forward to coming back next year to cut the ribbon on the first phase of the Transportation Center, the Sangamon Mass Transit District Transfer Center. And with that, I will introduce my colleague in the Senate, Senator Steve McClure.
Thank you, Senator Turner. first of all, as someone who used to work in the county building as a prosecutor for years, you realize how underutilized this space has been. And just in the last few years, to see what it is becoming, and to see that this hub is going to be here and be a huge project that is not just going to revitalize downtown, but it's going to revitalize the region for years to come. And one of the sad parts about downtown Springfield is that a few years ago it seemed like it was dying off. And many people have been asking me over the last few years, what are you going to do about downtown? Well, this hub is incredible. This is going to be state-of-the-art. It's going to utilize underutilized space, and it's going to bring a lot more people to downtown, and it's going to cause a lot more people to visit Springfield. So I want to thank the governor for his leadership. I want to thank our federal delegation for their leadership, our chairman, Andy Van Meter, Hanson, and all the folks that are going to be working on this. This is a big deal, and it's about time that we start growing our community again, and this is the exact project that will help to do that. So I thank everyone involved, and I also thank our mayor, Jim Langfelder, who's also our next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Good morning, everybody. First, I'd like to start off recognizing the city elected officials that are here that I know of. First, Treasurer Busher, Alderman Sean Gregory, and Alderman Roy Williams. And actually, special consideration for former Alderwoman Doris Turner and her strong voice at the state capitol. We can't thank you enough. Thank you to everyone in attendance. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to acknowledge the city's Public Works Director, Nate Bottom. He has helped usher the rail project along for the city of Springfield for over a decade. First as an engineer and now as our director, we appreciate his efforts. For today, this moment shows that you can never underestimate the power of a decision or a vote by a governmental body and what it means to the future of our residents and our community. Thank you to the Honorable Governor J.B. Pritzker for your fearless leadership in championing the state's first capital bill in over 10 years, in a nonpartisan fashion with our state legislators. You answered Springfield's top priority project request with $122 million of rail consolidation dollars, and we can't thank you enough for that. Little did he know, or we know, that his action and the legislature's action in 2015 assured that the Springfield Rail Improvements Project would progress without disruption even during a pandemic. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Senator Dick Durbin and Senator Tammy Duckworth for your steadfast support not only for this rail project, but also for your vote of support for the American Rescue Plan, which passed by only one vote. And I'll let you decide which one casts the deciding vote. But what that support meant for the city of Springfield and Sangamon County is $60 million of direct assistance to help us build back stronger from the pandemic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator. Also, a special thank you to our local public and private partners that made this transit hub come to fruition. Thank you to Horace Mann, the Salvation Army, SMTD, Sangamon County, the City of Springfield, and Hanson for all working together. This assured the best possible footprint for the transit hub. Buses moved off of Capitol Avenue and also put each participating entity in a better position to serve the public. Some people will view this only as a transportation hub for travel. In actuality, this center is a hub of opportunity. The hub will transform and connect both sides of the track with potential development opportunities positively impacting our downtown and east side while improving the lives of others. With all of us, the federal, state, and local governments working together in a nonpartisan fashion, alongside with the private sector, the hub and the rail corridor will be the corridors of opportunity. It will raise Springfield to new economic heights. This will ultimately improve accessibility and economic development for Springfield's downtown, medical district, and east side. We look forward to not only this phase, but also the modernization of the Cook Street and South Grand underpasses, which are now going underway. We are beginning to see these transformations along with Laurel Street opening up just a few weeks ago, while the 5th Street and 6th Street underpasses will be completed next year. Our heartfelt thanks to Governor Pritzker, our United States senators and congressmen, and state senators and representatives for remembering how important Springfield's place is in history, the place Lincoln made his home and fought for to be the state capital. As we move forward together, please continue the exemplary work you've started to do and continue to do in restoring the United States and the state of Illinois government to be the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Thank you. And now it gives me great pride to reintroduce the Honorable Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Thank you very much, and I know that we're, I think, Mr. Chairman, in a moment we're going to go sign a...
Yeah, we're going to dig some dirt and then sign.
All right, do you want to do questions beforehand? Okay, happy to take questions from members of the media.
Governor, United Auto Workers is preparing to strike at one of Illinois' largest employers, John Deere, tomorrow. In a moment like this, in a volatile labor market, what would you tell those employers about the value of their workers?
Well, as you know, we have tremendously well-trained workers in the state of Illinois, in part because we are a union state. And so I would just remind employers across the state how valuable it is to have talented workers on their payroll.
I wanted to ask on topic about Amtrak, and I'm guessing that Senator Durbin is about to rush to microphone, but anybody can answer. How do you justify, based on Amtrak's ridership numbers, the government's financial involvement in Amtrak?
Well, I'll speak at least personally. I think it's a huge boon to consumers, to workers, to have Amtrak available to them all across the nation. But I will, if you don't mind, Senator, I'll ask the senator to come up who's very involved in it.
You're welcome to come too. Yeah, absolutely. Amtrak is critical in terms of passengers moving in the state of Illinois and around the nation. And thank goodness for the trains supported by the state of Illinois. I want to thank the governor for that. There's no question about it. During the pandemic, we've seen interruptions in service and people making different plans. But it hasn't been that long ago, and it will soon return to capacity passenger usage of Amtrak. I feel confident they will. For example, they are investing now in new locomotives. They'll soon be investing in new passenger rail cars. All of that improvement in long-term quality of service and reliability of service will bring the riders back. I feel this is an important part of the picture. And if you've ever been to this train station, and many of us spend some time there, there are times when it is crowded with a lot of people heading to St. Louis and Chicago, particularly in baseball season.
Well, as someone who lived in Chatham for 2 years and used the Amtrak service, I will tell you I've seen that ridership steadily increase over the years. And if anything, investments in Amtrak with the better rail cars, as Dick was mentioning, as well as new requirements such as on-time performance and the like, and having Amtrak relook and actually publish schedules and making sure that the trains arrive on time will only grow that ridership. It is important as a nation that is a leading economy on a global scale that we have many different modes of travel, and I think Amtrak is part of that. Again, this is not just about travel within Illinois. This is about travel from coast to coast in the United States. And so I've been working very hard now for quite a while to work on both freight and passenger traffic, and the continuing investments in both legislative changes as well as rules and regulation changes as well as safety improvements will allow both passenger traffic and freight traffic to move more smoothly, more quickly, and that only contributes to our state's economy, but also our nation's economy as well.
Governor, on the detailed session next week, please, do you anticipate and would you like to see any action, and are you participating in any talks about repeal of parental notification, A, and B, I think in the energy plan there needs to be some language changes such that the electric car rebate is available to everyone statewide. Will that happen next week? First of all, current notification.
Sure. Well, you know that I'm a lifelong pro-choice advocate. I believe in standing up for a woman's right to choose. This is just one component, but a vital component of making sure that that right is available to all. With regard to the changes potentially next week to the $4,000 electric car rebate, let me just be clear that there's some conflicting language within the bill. So the intention all along was to make it available to everybody in the state. That is clear in several sections of the bill, but unclear in another two sections. So no doubt, either a Scrivener's error can be changed back to the intention, or even without it, I think the intention is clear.
Yes, you're pro-choice.
You're pro-choice, but I don't think you answered John's question.
Let me answer. Can I answer?
Parental notification repeal coming in veto.
Yeah, I think I'm clear about it. I'm in favor of a woman's right to choose. I'm in favor of repealing P&A. I don't know whether the legislature will bring this up over the 2 weeks of veto session, but I, have stood in favor of it since I was elected. In fact, long before that, when my mother had me marching in favor of a woman's right to choose back in the 1970s.
Yeah, let me. I want to address parental notification. This is about making sure that vulnerable young women are able to have access to their reproductive rights. And frankly, not everybody grows up in a family that has a healthy, loving relationship within that family. I grew up with what we now call a tiger mom. I wasn't allowed to make mistakes. I was punished when I came home with a B instead of an A. And I will tell you that I didn't have that open communicating relationship with my parents. And had I gotten pregnant at 16 or 17, I would have been one of those kids who would have lied to my parents if there were parental notification laws. And I would have gone and got an illegal abortion. And so this is, when you talk about parental notification, it sounds like a good idea, but it also puts those vulnerable young people, the ones who don't have good relationships with their parents, in a very vulnerable place where they have no other option than to seek illegal means. And so I think it is important that we do repeal parental notification laws, because it really does victimize, especially importantly, it victimizes young women who may have no other options. And young women deserve the right to a healthy medical system as much as adult women do. Thank you.
Is it time right now, either for a positive vote in Illinois or to send a message to the nation to do this in Illinois, given the climate and law in Texas?
I think that the time is always right to repeal parental notification, because there could be a 16-year-old girl right now who's pregnant, who can't go to her parents, who may be the victim of abuse within the family herself and can't go to get help because of parental notification. So I think the time is always right to repeal it.
We have time for one last question.
Governor, how do you explain the support for districts who are being sued by their neighbors who are trying to enforce the vaccine mandate?
How do I intend to handle it? Well, I've been, as you know, I've been supporting the Attorney General's move to defend our mandates across the state. It's very important in order to keep not only children, but all of the people who work in a school and the communities in which those schools exist. Keeping them safe is extraordinarily vital. The pandemic continues on. So remember that we've got to fight not just for our kids so that they're safe from the virus, but also the entire community. It's why I've been doing that since day one of this pandemic. So we'll continue to do that. There are people who are irresponsible, extraordinarily irresponsible, who are going around the state suing because they basically want to make schools less safe. That's not right. I mean, we are not at a moment when this pandemic is over. We have got to stand up for the safety and health of all the people of our state, so I'm going to continue to fight for that. And I thank the Attorney General for the work that he's doing in that regard as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
JB, got a shovel over there with your name on it.
Wait, you've been in politics longer than I have. That's got to be a big shovel. I'm going to count to I'll count to 3 on the 3 and stand up on the car. 1, 2, 3. Alright, it'll be 1, lift for 2, 1, lift, 3. That's all.
Alright, everybody, we're going to go back here inside this meet.
Okay, we standing in front?
Yes, we're going to sign the meet over here.
Yes. We'll do that. Are we doing it on this side of the beam? I guess so.
We can sign it on either side.
Either side. Oh, no problem. That's a full-time job, no?